Hello my dear friends, this video is about apprenticeship work experience while you were in traineeship, if you will, work experience as a part of a study or a licensing program, and how all these circumstances apply to immigration to Canada. When it comes down to immigration to Canada, we have to remember that we have to meet the definition of federal authorities of work experience. So this experience has to be skilled, well, of course, depending on which program you're applying for, but let's say we're taking, for example, federal skilled worker program, where your work experience have to fall into one of the categories 0A or B with respect to the performing duties. So these performing duties have to correspond to this skilled experience. This performing duties, right, or what you do has to be paid, right? It has to be clearly noted whether it's paid full-time or whether you're working full-time or part-time, right? And of course it has to be official, right? So you are working for the company, you're working for yourself, maybe as a self-employed individual, right? You got an incorporation, you're an employee, you're self-employed, and so on and so on, right? Now, one gray area here, if you will, is traineeship period, is apprenticeship period, where you are working, but at the same time, you are still in studies. Now, people are often asking me whether or not it will qualify for experience, because sometimes they're just scrambling to get those days, months, if you will, to apply successfully for Express Entry. Considering what's going on with Express Entry right now, where scores finally started to go down, right? Lots of people are trying to apply as soon as possible, and they're trying to get as many points as humanly possible in here. Now, when it comes down to this traineeship, you gotta look at the circumstances around it. Well, first of all, was it a part of your educational program, right? Like, could you actually practice and work by yourself without this period, right? Like, should you necessarily be under supervision of your superior, right? Or a licensed person as an architect, if you will, as an engineer, or you could work by yourself and perform these duties. How was it paid, right? Like, I mean, were you paid peanuts just because you were a trainee or not, right? Because if you're a trainee and you're paid 10, 20 times less than the senior person, well, that might not necessarily qualify, though there is no necessarily a definition, right, how much you gotta be paid, but officers would be looking at the reasonability factors. So if you were paid like $5 a month, right, that doesn't necessarily look reasonable, and it could be $100 a month, depending of course on which country you're from, because there are countries where official salary would be about $200 a month. Now, officers would also be looking at the number of those hours, right? How many hours were allocated? And sometimes this traineeship period would imply that you would be working in lots and lots of different occupations. A couple of weeks here, a couple of weeks in marketing department, and a couple of weeks in manufacturing, which would not fall into one specific NOC, National Occupation Classification category, which of course again would shed a light on your or rather doubt, if you will, on your work experience, which would not allow officers to calculate it and qualify it as a work experience. So altogether, these question marks, right, they have to be answered and addressed correctly. And if you're looking to improve your chances and include that work experience into your official calculated work where you're getting points, you have to make sure that you explain it properly to officers. Look, I was performing these duties under the supervision of a licensed professional. I was doing this and this. This is the reference letter from this individuals. I was given this number of hours. I was doing this work, right? These are references from my peers, superiors, and so on, right? So that to prove all together within number of hours work that this should qualify as the skilled work experience. And again, officers would be looking at whether or not it was part of your study program, right? Because if it was, probably you would not be given this experience. But altogether, the more evidence you collect, the easier it will be to convince a particular officer. If you would need help with that, feel free to drop us a line and we'll be glad to assist you. You would see on the screen the link ctv.ca/go. One of our specialists would look at your personal profile, your personal circumstances, and help you out to assess your chances for immigration to Canada. got questions, feel free to send us a line. Stay tuned with us. Stay safe.